Bayformers with the Bayverse is finally back. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I've been saying for the longest. I'm gonna tell you straight up right now. Look, if it's the first time that you're checking out my channel and you're checking me out, hit that subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing. I'm not charging you for nothing. Just hit that subscribe and show your support. Now, what I do want to talk about is the following, all right? This I want to emphasize to everybody. I'm a Transformers fan, all right? Don't get it twisted. I love Transformers. I love all type, but it doesn't mean that I like every single version of it. But what I do really like when it all comes down to it is what Michael Bay did with this whole saga. That's the important part. Look, long live the Bayverse, and I'm glad that finally Hasbro and Paramount are getting their heads out of their asses and restoring the Bayverse, because it's very important. When it comes to this franchise, you need a series, you need a strong IP that's going to make you money. And right now with the Bayformers, without Michael Bay, they've been losing money. All right. I want to talk about this real quick. This is why I'm doing this live stream. All right. To everybody that's out there saying, oh, you're not a real Transformers fan. Look, first things first, I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm going to crush some feelings right now. All right. And mainly to all you G whiners. That's how I call y'all G1 lovers. I love Transformers and I love G1. I love the designs. I like everything about it. I prefer G2 just because that's just me. But let me just tell you something very important when it comes down to this franchise, all right? With Michael Bay, all right? Before Michael Bay came on board in 2007, the franchise was down the dump. And everything with the Transformers IP was going downhill. We were at the G2 era and it wasn't selling. It wasn't making money, all right? And then all of a sudden, appreciate y'all for watching. Vegeta, Khan, I see y'all. And when it comes down to Transformers overall, let's be real. Look, back in 1992, 93, Transformers is in the same history as it is right now. The G2 was nice, but fans didn't come out and support it, all right? Michael Bay, on 2007 with the Transformers live action film, that picked up steam, it fired up, and everything started picking up again, all right? I was a Transformers fan, but that got me more into it. And seeing what Michael Bay was putting out, I'm talking to y'all right now, and damn it, I got goosebumps because I could feel it. I've been telling you, look, there's no other channel out there that's been keeping it real and fighting the same way that I've been doing for the Bayverse. Sure, there's other channels that talk about it here and there, but everybody always has something negative to say. I'm here fighting, and I've been putting up, and I get insults, I get disrespected, I get name called, I get threats, I get everything, yo. And I still keep on fighting in what I believe in. And today, what we're being hearing is right now, this has the internet wild right now. Everybody's talking about it. And it's amazing to see that. You have good and bad. Now, I know Hasbro's probably watching, probably not me, but I'm just saying they're just watching everybody because they said it. Remember, they said it in one of the fan streams that they're listening. They're listening to what the fans want. This is what this company needs. Look, from here, we're in 2025 right now. They have the rights for Transformers with the movies until 2029 to get their shit together. And this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is what DC needs to do with, WB with DC. You need to restore the Snyderverse the same way. Look at how everybody is talking. You're going to have, people that are with it, people that are against it. But who cares? Let's be real, all right? These are the facts, and I'm going to crush some feelings right now, all right? Especially to you G-whiners that are always, it's not G1, so I'm not going to support it. Oh, Michael Bay ruined the franchise. No, he didn't, clown. Wake up. Michael Bay with the Bayformers revived, and it brought back the franchise. After Michael Bay, what has made money? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We tried, all right? Let's give it a shot. 3 times. Strike, all right? We did it with Travis Knight, with Bumblebee. I loved the intro. I loved the opening. But it didn't make the money that they wanted at the box office. And that was a reboot, remember. What did they do after? Oh, let's do another soft reboot. And what happened? We got Rise of the Beasts. I love the designs. I like the aesthetics. I love all that stuff. But it still didn't live up to it. And then on top of that, what happened? Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. What happened? Oh, that's right. we're going to give the fans no humans, no live action, and we're going to give it all cartoons, right? We're going to keep it quote unquote G1. This is what you wanted? How come you fans didn't show up? You G1 fans did not show up. And don't blame the marketing. Enough of the blame game. Be accountable of what happened. Transformers 1 flopped because not enough people were interested. It was a kids movie. That's it. It was a kids movie. And that's the same thing that's happening with DC right now. Superman is catered to the kids. And you think they're going to make this money at the box office? You better rethink yourself, WB. And the same thing with DC. What Hasbro and Paramount have announced with this going around, if this is straight up legit, I'm telling you right now, cinema is back, baby. Cinema is back. And you know why? Because when Michael Bay was there, like I said, say what you want, but with Michael Bay, there was people in the theaters. People were rewatching these films, and I've said this in multiple videos throughout time. It sold. The IP of Transformers under Michael Bay with the live action movies, it made money, and it continues to make money. You know why? Here's another fact. When you go to Universal Studios, what do you see? You don't see G1 Transformers. What do you see? Transformers from Michael Bay, the ride. And all these years, it continues. So therefore, the Bayverse makes money. That's the first ride that I go to every time I go to Universal Studios. Every single time. I'm getting chills telling y'all this. Every time I go to Universal Studios, and all my friends and all my close people know that that's the first ride that I hit. And I go right before the gates open because I want to ride that ride. I kid you not. I go on it probably 3 times back to back because that's how good that ride is. And that's how it feels. It's just so cinematic. And that's a ride. I'm like, damn, it feels like I'm really in the movie. I don't see no G1 doing that. How come we don't see that with Hasbro, huh? Hasbro only loves to milk the G1 with the toys and cartoons. And that's it. That's what sells. Okay, good. But let's be real. This is why this studio is in the condition that it's in. Without Michael Bay, look at how this company is about to go bankrupt. Just like with WB. It's the same thing. They're going downhill. Zack Snyder and Michael Bay both pushed cinema ahead of its time. They pushed cinema probably 15 years ahead of the game. Until this day, after what, like 8 years that Michael Bay hasn't been over with, with Paramount directing. I'm not talking about producing because I'm aware and I know that he's producing these movies. Look, apparently I think there's a rumor going around of sometime, I don't know when it was, but I just read an article and it said that Hasbro or Paramount, one of those two, I think the studio, they said, approached Michael Bay and said, hey, you want to do something? This is why I'm telling y'all, this is why they saw that Transformers 1 wasn't going to work. And I'm glad that shit is not working. I'm glad Transformers 1 flopped. I'm glad it didn't, because it's proving to you that the general audience and regular people didn't care about it. They want what Michael Bay did, and that was quality. It was entertaining. That's all that matters. Now, how do you go and you fix this IP? And how do you go and fix everything that's right now? That I'm going to talk on a later video. I'm going to break it down and explain me speculating and giving ideas to Hasbro how you can go about connecting everything that's already established. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, this right here has me excited, yo. Like, this is what I'm talking about. You see, this is why I don't give up to faith. When you have people talking about, oh, let it go, give up, move on. Yo, you are people that don't have no faith. You have no motivation. I do, even if I'm the only one. And look at what we're seeing right now. You're witnessing. Everybody's talking about this variety. You have, what else? There's so many people right now on Twitter. This is a hot topic right now. It just came out today. And or apparently overnight, like I'm on the East Coast and people were tagging me and stuff. So when I saw it this morning, I was like, oh, that's dope. I got to talk about it. So that's why I was like, yo, let me put this video, because I'm on the East Coast. I know on the West Coast is more, you guys are 3 hours behind and stuff like that. So I was like, let me just put it at a good time. That's why I'm here talking about it. I know in the East Coast, we're in the East Coast right now, it's 12:47. In the West Coast right now, like 9:47. But, like I said, this is awesome to see what this studio is doing. They're actually listening to the fans, and that's the important part. They even said it. They're listening to the fans. Look, I'm telling y'all straight up, cinema is about to change and is about to come back. How? We have Jurassic World opening next week. Universal knows what's up. They know that fans want to go out there and spend money. They got their tickets, all that good stuff. Good. They're going to make money at the box office. Paramount knows that fans go out and buy toys and buy merchandise of Transformers and re-buy it and stuff. This is why they continue to put out merchandise. But what's interesting at the same time is how come WB loves to milk it? And look, I made a post about this probably a week ago. You all, if you've been keeping up, you've been seeing my streams and stuff that I talked about in my videos. And I mentioned something about that. In my last stream, I think, or the one previous, I had said this specifically. I go, Hasbro and DC, they both have something in common. They don't want to continue with Michael Bay and with Zack Snyder, but they love to put out stuff to remilk it, right? Because they know that it's going to sell. That's interesting. And then at the end, I was talking about my comic book. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be doing my stuff since they don't want to take anything with these directors. Damn it, they're the blueprint. They know what the hell they're doing. They were making money. I'm going to throw that now into my comic. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And then here we are a few days later, and we get this one announcement. WB, this is your time. You need to redeem yourself. Hasbro is about to redeem themselves with this. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Hasbro stocks with this are about to go up. They're about to start going up. And this is good for business. It's not only good for the merchandise, but it's good and great for the fans and the industry. Because we need good movies. It's been already a few years where shit has been bad. It's just been bad, let's face it, yo. I'm a Transformers fan, and I was not excited for Transformers 1. The moment I saw the cast, I was like, this is going to be bad. This is straight up the Avengers. Another Marvel-style MCU formula. It doesn't work because you have most of the cast or some of the cast from the Avengers. That's all I could see. See what I'm saying? And then what happens? It tanked at the box office. It didn't do the numbers that what do you call it? The studio wanted. If I was the studio and I would be an executive, I too would be pissed. I would be like, nah, we're going to cancel it. We're going to pull the plug because it's not working. You're going to have 3 different directors with Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast, and then now Transformers 1, and 3 didn't work. What's the excuse? Fans are just not eating it. Not every fan wants it. Not everybody. Look, you go right now to Walmart and you're going to see Transformers 1 merchandise going on massive sale. I've seen merchandise of Transformers 1 at $2, $3, and I still don't want that shit. You know why? Because it doesn't get my attention. I don't want that in my collection. The designs are ugly. The shit was bad. I'm not a fan of it. It's not catered to me. And all this stuff is being overstocked and ending up at Ross right now. As we speak, you can go to Ross and find all this stuff now. And it's already going on clearance at Walmart, at Target. There's a massive sale going on at Target right now. They're just trying to get rid of all this stuff that's not selling. The same thing is happening with Superman. All this merchandise is not selling. And I foretold all this, but nobody wants to listen to me because I'm the small guy, right? Because I'm the small channel. Nobody takes me serious. I've been predicting and saying all this real shit since the beginning over 2 years ago. I had somebody tag me with the post on Twitter and they were like, yo, you were right. Yeah, Michael Bay's back. I told y'all he was going to be back. It's to a certain point that the studio can afford. You have to put yourself in the position and in the seat of an executive. Are you going to let your brand go down to the ground? No. You're going to do everything that you can to save it. Now, I get it. It's not going to please everybody. But some things, after they're not pleasing everybody, you need to go back and reevaluate and go back to what was working. And with Transformers, what worked and saved and revived the brand was Michael Bay. Let's face it, it was Michael Bay. 5 movies. Don't come at me and tell me otherwise. Don't come at me and tell me, oh, well, Transformers, the movie's been re-released. I don't care. It didn't make the numbers that, the live action movies made when Michael Bay was there. You have 5 films, right? 5 films. They all made money. Over 500 million. And sure, the last one, what? 600 million? That's still good money. That's not what they're making today. So you think that they don't want that money? Of course they want. They want that good type of money. But the thing is, you have to deliver to the fans. You have to give quality. When you give quality to the fans, that's when the fans are going to be like, look, I'm opening my wallet and I'm spending. I already tagged early this morning. You don't believe me? Go right now to Twitter and follow me if you don't. And you can see it. It's free. Check it out. I don't have my profile private. That shit's open. And I tagged Hasbro, Transformers, and Paramount. And I told them straight up, take my money. That's it. Take my money. You don't have to tell me, hey, this is not. Michael Bay's back with Transformers. Let's go. Let's go. Why are we talking? Let's start filming right now. Let's get the cameras rolling. That's what I've been saying for a while. And the same thing with DC. DC, you need to redeem yourself. With this bitter taste that everybody's about to have with Superman, I'm telling you straight up, how do you redeem yourself? Simple. You restore the Snyder. I mean, yeah, that's it. You restore the Snyderverse. That's crazy, yo. Like, it's crazy that I'm actually watching and seeing how everybody's talking about this. I watch other YouTube channels about, Transformers and stuff, and I'm seeing all of these people that talk down and have said so many negative things, and now they're changing their point of view because they're like, oh, well, okay, let's give him a second chance. Give him a second chance. He was doing good in the first place. The only problem is that you had these fans that constantly complain and cry because it's not G1. Oh, it's not G1, so it's not accurate. I don't give two shits if it's accurate. I want good entertainment. And that's what Michael Bay was giving me. As a Transformers fan, a customer, a consumer, I was enjoying, and I still enjoy those movies because I go back and I rewatch them. There's so many things with The Last Night. And like I said, I'm going to talk about this on another video explaining how you put everything together and you make it work. It's very easy. All the pieces to the puzzle are right there. So Hasbro, you better, if you're watching or if you know anybody out there, let them know, because when I talk about that video, I'm going to tell you straight up, how do you go about from this announcement? Straight up. This has nothing to do with the cartoons. It has nothing to do with any of that. And notice this. Check this out. When Michael Bay was there and we had what it was, the first, second, and third film, I think it was all the way, the fourth film, to Age of Extinction, we even had during those times video games that were based and inspired from the movie. What does that tell you? That it sold, it made money. How come we don't see a Transformers 1 video game? Answer me that. You'll never see it because it doesn't have enough fan service. I wouldn't be surprised with the way that things are going. Hasbro's like, yo, before we lose our IP and we have to sell it to somebody, or we have to give it to somebody to like own the rights, let's just do and give it one more shot. And that's what you need to do. Bravo. Bravo. That's exactly what you need to do. That's customer service right there, damn it. That's how you go about on saving your IP. By them announcing that Michael Bay is coming back to direct another film, yo, this is it. This is the time, baby. This is how you do it and you make it happen. You're catering to the fans, the true fans. Because the fake fans are just going to talk shit and criticize it. The real fans going to go out there and support it and be like, you know what? Look, I support that shit. That's how it is. That's exactly how it is. When you have fans that are constantly buying the merchandise, I'm one of them. Most of my collection of Transformers are not G1. I'm going to tell you straight up. They're the most modern type of style of G2. Because like I said, that's my style, what I like more. It's still G1, but with the colors of G2. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I got probably 6 or 7 shelves full of the Bayformers. And I'm going to show y'all soon on my stuff, because I've been rearranging and making it look better and stuff. And just to let y'all know, that's where as a fan I stand. And I'm like, yo, all these movies, they made the studio money. That's all that matters. That should be the only thing that this studio should be caring about. And they always do, because it's a business. I get it. Some people are going to be like, oh, you're not catering to me. Not you. It's catering to me. I'm excited for what they're going to do and what they're going to put out next. And especially if Michael Bay is going to be involved in it, in the directing side, hell yeah, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. It's about time. Because honestly, I don't know about some of y'all, but my palate is bitter from all the trash, garbage movies that they've been putting out there. Seriously, that's what it is. When you have good quality, you're going to get people supporting it. You're going to get money from it. And most of all, you're going to be banking. That's all that matters. We get good movies. They make money. Let's continue the flow. You don't have to go back and fix what's not broken. Nothing was broken. All it was, again, is because The Last Night did bad. Because I like I told y'all, I'm looking at it from a director's point of view. There were so many people involved telling Michael Bay, hey, this should be done. This is going to please this crowd. This is going to please the other. And when you don't give the fans that service, this is what happens. And it's just a mess. He should have just stuck and done his plan. The studio should have just let him cook and really finish his whole vision of what he wanted to do. You can't just leave Unicron being teased at the end of The Last Night and be like, yeah, we're going to sweep that under the rug and then we're going to reboot with Rise of the Beast. What the hell? hold on, what? And then you're gonna put the music from, from the Bayverse mixed into the Rise of the Beast. Like, yo, does this connect? How does it not connect? It's the same music. You're not just trying to capitalize off of nostalgia, because honestly, it's like, yo, that doesn't work. You have to stick to what's already been working. Once you have that going, boom. I'm telling you straight up, the fans are gonna be happy, and most of all, you're gonna be making money. That's all that it is, honestly. Yeah, exactly. The whole line with the studio series, from the film Bayverse. Yeah, exactly. Is mostly focused on the Bayverse. They slowly, low key, try to throw in, G1s and G2s. That's cool and everything, but they always have a Bayverse, Bayformers in there, and I'm like, it sells. It sells. People buy it, and people like to bash on Michael Bay and his Bayformers, right? But then they go out and buy the stuff, and I'm like, you see, like people go out and buy it. But you can't say the same thing with Transformers 1, because it's overstocked everywhere. Nobody cares about it. And then the few fans that are like, oh, like that was the best adaptation. Okay, it was the best adaptation to your eyes, but not to the studio. They canceled it. There's a reason why they canceled it. If it was so good, like some fans say, it would have continued. They would have gone to another one, but it didn't. And this is, again, like, nobody's to blame on this, all right? I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not blaming the studio. I'm not blaming the fans. It's just, look, in the end, fans know what they want. And if they wanted one thing and the studio got in the way, I say it's a 50-50. It is what it is. But I'm glad. I'm really glad now that we're getting Michael Bay back. Because this is amazing, yo. Like, I'm in shock. Like, happy shock. Then I'm like, yo, I want to shed a tear. I'm like, yo, like, of joy. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe this is actually happening. This is what we've been fighting for. And there's no other channel out there fighting for restore the Bayverse like I have. Because I've been putting up with so many insults left and right. And people take me for granted. I'm like, look, good. I'm glad. This is exactly what we needed. This is what the industry needs right now. We need good cinema again. And when you don't give that and you don't deliver that, you suffer what you've been seeing after what the studio was putting out. And the same thing when it comes to DC with WB, with the live actions. Without Zack Snyder, the studio is done. Without Michael Bay, the studio and the brands are done. Let's not forget, WB reached out to Michael Bay to do Man of Steel 2. What does that tell you? That there's quality. They saw something in that. When you have Mike DeLuca reaching out to Michael Bay, yo, there's something that he sees in him to be like, yo, we can make some money off of this. Of course, the man knows what he's doing. The studio needs to let him do his thing, and we can all win and enjoy and bring everything back together. It's not going to please everybody. You can't please everybody. It's impossible. But in the end, please who you know is going to come out and they're going to buy your stuff. Because in the end, like I said, I'm going to be out there buying it, and I'm going to rewatch it and buying all that merchandise and stuff. So, this is an amazing day, honestly. Paramount listened, that's all. They decided to listen to the fans, that's all. It's not magic, it's science. Paramount listened, WB refuses to listen. That's true. I agree with you. That's exactly what that is. In the end, fan service. And for that, take all my money. That's all I care about. But yeah, I'm going to come back and talk about this later more in the details and, breaking it down and stuff like that. So, long live the Bayverse. And hopefully now soon we can say the Bayverse is restored. Boom. I'll leave it with that. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace.